Hi, my name is Jasmine Holyfield. I'm a music publisher in Atlanta, Georgia. My company is LG Music Publishing, and I also am the founder of Holyfield Entertainment Group Incorporated. And I just wanted to discuss with you guys the verdict of the controversial Thicke, Williams, and Gaye trial. It's been a lot of discussion going on about it, from the executive boardrooms of the industry way down to conversations with my cousins on Facebook. And I just wanted to try and, clear up some things, shed some light from a publisher standpoint, and, whether or not I agree with the verdict. Okay, people, so this is how this stuff works. Copyright law is very intricate. Intellectual property is also very intricate because it's made basically from the mind. It's not necessarily tangible like a Reebok shoe or a Nike check, a Nike tennis shoe or Jordan or something like that. When you're dealing with music, chord progressions have been reproduced since the beginning of time. For instance, I was a church musician, music director from the time I was 12 to I was about 26, 13 years, 14 years. And a lot of the drives that you hear in church, they from soul music, they from funk and R&B. And, that stuff and it goes both ways. Some of the stuff that was in soul music and, the James Brown era, all that mix between gospel, R&B and stuff, it's been going on since the beginning of time. So how do you track and record every little chord progression in cases of litigation? When we studied this stuff in school, I have a music business minor and a Bachelor of Arts film degree from Georgia State. When we studied this stuff in school, it was basically taught to us like this. Anybody can reproduce your music, especially right now in the information age, this digital age. It's almost virtually impossible to keep people from reproducing whatever they want to reproduce. However, where the litigation comes in is when somebody takes you to court. So for instance, it's like that with any other crime. If I punch you in the face and you never report it, you don't press any charges, I just punched you in the face and walked away with it. No, no foul, no harm, no foul. But if I punch you in the face and you take me to court, then I have to face the justice system because now we're going through the litigation process. Well, in this case, it's no difference, or it's really similar. It's like this, okay, Blurred Lines and Got to Give It Up by Marvin Gaye was a very similar record. If you take a chord progression and you make the beat, the bass, all the elements of the song sound extremely similar to that of another's body of work, your music, your body of work is now in jeopardy. Especially if you're somebody on the clout of Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams, because you have a check. And so people are going to want you to pay for using their stuff because you're Pharrell Williams and Robin Thicke. Now, if somebody else goes and recreates Got to Give It Up on YouTube, they may contact YouTube and ask them to take it down, but they're not going to come at them strong like that because it's not worth it. These people are common people. They don't have a check. And so that was really the biggest argument. Like, dude, if right, that they got video footage of both Pharrell and Thicke saying they were inspired by this man's record and, they wanted to channel him and all this stuff, then out of respect, just to Marvin Gaye, then just pay the licensing fee. Because the way it works is that if someone reaches out to you and say, hey, either cease or desist or whatever the case may be, hey, we heard your record, it's on the radio all over the country, all over the world, and we feel as if you sampled portions of our father's music. And out of respect, that's what I'm saying, out of respect for Marvin Gaye and what he's done in the music community, all they had to do was negotiate a licensing fee, which I said before, which I'm sure would have been way less than $7.4 million. All they had to do was negotiate a licensing fee for possibly the PA copyright, which is performance arts, and the SR, the sound recording. It's real simple. But it's a lot of egos involved in the music industry, as everybody knows. And nobody really likes being told what to do, especially when you just, came home with a couple Grammys. Shouts out Pharrell. This stuff goes on all the time. I don't really feel no type of way towards either party. I just look at the legalities of it and how it could have been avoided, saved everybody some time. And basically, yeah, like, they would have just had to cut a check for the licensing fee and everything would have kept it pushing. But the reports that I read, and you know how journalism is, I don't know how valid this is, but the reports I read said that the Thicke family the Gaye family reached out to Thicke and Pharrell. They reached out to their people. And they just told them, no, we're not giving you nothing. We're not giving you anything. That's our record. It's doing great. It's making millions. Screw you. And that's the kind of the way it goes in the industry. And so when you take it to a jury, okay, and you take it to court, and you got videos out there saying you was inspired by this man's music, your record sounds super close. Like, if I was in their camp, I would have told them, let's just pay the licensing fee and keep it pushing. It's way cheaper that way. Another thing I wanted to discuss before I get out of here, because we're going on in 7 minutes. They didn't include Tip and the record label that owns the SR copyright, and Tip, who had a verse on the record, on the song. Why is that, people? Does anybody know why? Let me tell you. The reason Tip and the label were possibly able to escape litigation charges was because in this case, Pharrell and Robin Thicke admitted that they did not sample any recorded portions of Marvin Gaye's song. They just, kind of got inspired and went in the booth and started recreating his melodies and chord progressions and stuff like that. And so as a musician, and I'm not even sure if that's true. Maybe they did sample a portion of the actual record, which would make it even worse. But apparently that wasn't the case because they kept the label out. But it may have happened. And the reason I say that would have made it worse because you sampled the people's stuff. Like, just pay them for the sample. But, Pharrell is also a musician, or I know he can pay a musician to come in and play it live or whatever. So anyway, if that's the case, and none of the actual recording of Gaye's Got to Give It Up was sampled, then technically, this is where it get iffy. Technically, the recording company is not liable for them reproducing this man's music like that, because they more than likely have a contract, indemnifying them, which basically means if anything goes wrong with this song that you're giving to us to release, that's on you, because we've said to make sure that you have all this stuff cleared before it gets to us. More than likely. Especially with somebody like Pharrell and Thicke. And the same thing with Tip. You know what I'm saying? Tip kind of just wrote a verse. He didn't write any music. He didn't add anything or take anything away from the track, or, nothing about what Tip produced on the song or wrote on the song has anything to do with Marvin Gaye. He just on there rapping, if that makes sense. And so that's how Tip and the record label were possibly able to elude charges. Once again, my name is Jasmine Holyfield. I'm a publisher out of Atlanta, Georgia. My company is LG Music Publishing. You can catch me on Twitter. You can catch me on Facebook. You can catch me on Instagram. At Jasmine Holyfield, JasmineHolyfield. Be blessed. And do follow me for informational tips about music business and the industry. How do you close this thing?